here because this is our third video for today. They're all like 20 minutes. All right. So the measure of arc FI is 80. So I'm going to go ahead and trace that. FI is 80. GH is 50. We can find the rest of the arcs, can't we? What do you guys think? Can we find the rest of the arcs? What did you say, Anya? Yeah, this is 130. The whole thing should be 360. I don't even know if I would add these two together. I'd probably cover up the bottom part and just look at the top. What do you guys see? Yeah, so the top, this half should be 180 total. So if that's 80, that means this is 100. Okay, and then if we cover this up, that's 50. So what should the other arc be? 130. Okay. We can get started labeling some of these angles, right? So if I take my blue arc and I trace it back, what's the measure of that angle I just drew? 25. It's 25, okay. All right, I can trace my green one back. What's the measure of that arc? 40. Okay. What else could I do?
The 130 angle.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my, here's my 130 angle. And if I trace, or that, sorry, that was my arc. If I trace the angle that it goes with.
That would be 65 degrees.
Okay. So 65 and 25, can we find this third angle? What's the third angle?
90, right?
It's 90. It's 90. And there's a couple different ways we knew that it was 90. One way is that we knew 65 and 25 adds up to 90. And the whole triangle should be 180. That's one way we could tell. The other way we could tell, it is a right triangle. The other way we could tell is if we take this angle and we follow it out with our fingers, the arc is half the circle. No, it is frozen. You're right. Maybe. Give it a second.
Wait, so if that one's 90 and the one across from it would be 90 also?
Then the one across from it would be 90 also. So the one that's... Dang, it's really not going to fix itself. Hold on, let me fix it. Okay, so we said if this is 90, then this one up here also has to be 90. And why is that?
Because they're right across from each other and they're supplementary.
Yeah, we said opposite angles have to be supplementary. And if you trace this out, it's half a circle. So we have multiple ways of getting the answer.
And then that would make your last angle 50.
Okay.
Because the rest of your angles in that triangle equal 90, and 90 minus 40 would be 50.
Yeah, and you have a lot of ways to get that 50-degree angle. So one of the ways was to say your triangle has to add up to 180. Another way is to say that 50-degree angle goes with that 100-degree arc. You guys see that? Another way is to say that this corner and this corner of the quadrilateral have to add to 180. So by the time we got to the end, that 50-degree angle had a lot of different ways you could come to it. Does that make sense? So when we do problems like this, there's not necessarily one right way of getting there. It kind of has a domino effect. Once you start adding the numbers into your picture, the numbers that you already put there are going to give you more and more answers. Does that make sense? So you don't just have one way of getting there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and write our answers. The measure of angle G is 90. The measure of angle GFI, so from G to F to I, G to F to I is not 25, It's 75. It's the whole thing. G to F to I is 75. Measure of angle IHG. So from I to H to G,
That's 105.
105. Measure of angle HFI is 50. Measure of angle FHG, 65. Measure of angle I.
90.
Measure of the minor arc, IH, so it has to be the small one, is 100. Measure of the major arc, this is more than half a circle, from I to F to G.
80 plus 130.
80 plus 130, 210. Okay, how'd you guys feel about that? So we didn't try to do the answers as we went. What did we do first?
Broke it down.
We broke it down, we labeled everything we could find. And then once we labeled the whole picture, then we got all the answers. Okay, so go ahead and flip the page. You're going to do the same thing with the next problem, okay? So I'm going to start us off, and then you guys are going to have lots of things to find, okay? So it says ML is parallel to JK. So we know that this line is parallel to this line. That's parallel, so that could be some interesting information at some point. It tells us that ML is 120, so I'm going to go ahead and show that. ML is 120. Okay, so go ahead and get started. You're labeling everything you can find. Everything you can find. Now, we do have some central angles in here. Central angles are not half of the arc. They're the exact measurement of the arc. Okay, so just be careful of that. They are not half the arc. They are the exact measurement of the arc. All right, so go ahead, label all the things, see if you can do 17 through 24. Add this to it. Since the lines, the two lines are parallel, that means the arcs are going to be the same. So 120, 120. So that's helpful. Okay.